All right, I'm gonna go check out Central Intelligence at the VIP cinema tonight. Who's excited? I am.
Invited back to the jungle, and reluctantly he returned.
One of the most exciting features of Aspen.
It's hard going to the bathroom with you staring at me, Paul. Hey gang, I just got out of Central Intelligence, and the reason I'm not giving you my full review on my car ride home is because my stupid car mount broke, so I'm resorting to shooting the video this way. I have to be really honest, I went into Central Intelligence with pretty low expectations. Low in the sense that there hasn't been a lot of Kevin Hart comedies that I've really come out appreciating. That's not to say that I don't like Kevin Hart. I think Kevin Hart has a really sort of an infectious and engaging on-screen personality. He sort of reminds me of like Eddie Murphy, sort of cross-morphed with a little bit of Chris Tucker. And I think he's got really good, strong comedic chops. Unfortunately, he just has a real knack for picking the wrong roles and the wrong films. And yes, he sort of plays the same sort of man-child blabbermouth in movie after movie, but he's so good at doing it. But this time, I think he's really rather wonderfully paired with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And, you know, The Rock is somebody who, it's kind of paradoxical. He doesn't have a lot of range as an actor, but nevertheless, he's actually quite good at both comedy and action. And he's quite decent at low-key drama. He's just not going to have a career playing a variety of different types of parts. But I think the one thing that Central Intelligence really has going for it is it does have a really sort of wonderful give and take chemistry between its two lead actors. And I think the film is really kind of wonderfully cast in that respect. And if you consider Central Intelligence with two lesser actors at the helm, I think the film wouldn't have been nearly as watchable as it is right now. And of course, for those that are really unfamiliar with it, it's about two sort of high school acquaintances that sort of knew each other back in 1996. And the film opens with a flashback where Kevin Hart, ironically enough, is like the go-getter, really popular jock of the school, and The Rock is sort of the really heavy and obese, socially rejected person in high school. And because of a prank, he feels forever jaded. And in the film flash forward, it's 20 years forward, and the two sort of reconnect on Facebook, and wouldn't you know it, The Rock's character sort of becomes this hulking behemoth, and it's revealed that he's a CIA agent, whereas Kevin Hart's character is an accountant, and the plot sort of thickens and comedy hijinks ensue and so forth. I don't go to films like Central Intelligence expecting, watertight logic. I mean, there's a lot of illogical plot developments in the film. I go there to fully expect that it delivers on its intended purposes, and that is it's an engine designed to generate laughs. And on that respect, Central Intelligence is actually fairly funny, and The Rock is really good at sort of setting up his own image. I mean, his character is sort of, he likes unicorns, and he likes the romantic comedies of John Hughes. 16 Candles is his very favorite film, and that sort of is a running comedic motif in the film, which gets revisited many, many times, which I really liked. And he's an adorable character despite his outward facade. So I really like that whole dynamic of his character. And again, Kevin Hart is essentially playing the umpteenth version of his Kevin Hart persona, but it suits him well in this film. The film sort of has a really sort of shaky beginning. I personally really don't like it when Hollywood, goes for really cheap and sensationalistic laughs at the expense of someone's weight. And, they think it's a real sort of riot, superimposing The Rock's face on this poor extra schmuck who just happen to be really obese. And it's sort of, they play it for laughs, but then they sort of pull it back and like, no, this is a message about high school bullying. And I think the whole message and the whole nature that bullying is presented in the film, it's really kind of a mixed blessing, and it's really sort of awkward and clumsily handled. But having said all that, I mean, the film really sort of helps elevate itself above its foibles by really generating a lot of infectious chemistry between The Rock and Kevin Hart. And there's a lot of actually interesting action beats in the film too. There's one incredibly novel thing that happens in one action scene where The Rock's character very ingeniously uses an Inkertone cartridge from a photocopier as a weapon of distraction. And I've never seen that in an action film before, so I thought that was kind of novel and clever. And by the end of it, I mean, this is not a film that I can just outwardly recommend that you go out of your way to spend, $12+ to go see in a theater, but it's certainly it would make a decent rental. I think I would recommend it on the level that it delivered enough sustained laughs, even though I think the film kind of wore out its welcome a little bit. It's 140 plus minutes. I think it's about 10 minutes too long for its own good. It takes an awfully long time to sort of build to something in the film. There's also a couple cameos in the film that are quite good. One in particular, who I will not spoil, who plays the bully that tormented The Rock at the beginning of the film. And man, he is great at playing wisecracking, sniveling jerks. So I really appreciated him being in the film. And there's also one other little fault, I guess, with the movie is that there's a character that's sort of introduced in a flashback that's played by a fairly prominent actor who's kind of never heard from again in the film. And then you kind of, you put the pieces of the film together and then you're like, he'll end up coming back for this big climactic payoff in the end. So it's kind of predictable on that level. But nevertheless, I had a decent time with Central Intelligence. I think most people will. I think the audience was really engaged. And I was pleasantly surprised because after seeing films like Ride Along 1 and 2 and Get Hard, I just didn't have maybe a lot of patience or hope that a Kevin Hart co-starring comedy would be something that I would enjoy as much as I did with this film. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments about Central Intelligence. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate all the views and any comments that you do provide for me. And we'll see you at the movies, everybody.